God, always God, that's me now. But never because we're going to follow us. We're going to come to Sheikh. Hey, you have been like that. This is how it goes. My curve, I'm me. Yeah, but I'm going to my premise. And the least now, say, so there's some salash with the coach of beautiful. Yeah, we're going to pass the shit out of the Shmachos. I'm going to come out. I'm really all moving around me. Barakatu adinai, Elena Bakshina Ramesh Yaka, Philakatu, Gibbon, Makosan, Ganako, Zerastio, Smith, Nevin, Manch, Media, Mathis, Shilagi, Marakatu adinai, Login Agra, after the Name of Mr. Tablet Shaman, Ratom, Hakas, and Finish Rabin, Smith, the Matra, Smith, Congress, and Demola. Both members of the famous Yakin show of Lemon Asala, Yes, Marakatu adinai, I have עכשיו אנחנו נריץ לכם שתשחקי נשם שלוש, מחר בדש חכוס, וירוויח בקר, זה ויאמר. אז יש קודש, אז אני אצלס וחץ מדי, למעשה משאבתם ויאמר. אנחנו בנדם מקיימת, ומקוד שכל כזה ויאמר. אם אחד אני נעשה מדי בדיר, הללויה, חודש משפט הקודש, קודש מחיים ילכוס עליו, הנחתו הדין, לא ילה קודש. התוכנית לדעת מדברים שנחיים את חכוך, מבין מדרס, הנחתו הדין, אין הדרס. מבין הנושא סך, אבל מבין מקינה לכם סך להחזיר, ושבע שלהם לא פנחה, הנחתו הדין, רץ מסשבע. Slaplan we don't get the market of the Shano, get the Sahata, Barakatu, and a marvel slayer. And when you know, very much for Gilgal, for the God of Barakatu, tell Israel. I know the name of the Shaka Sasina, for the Slave of Makistino, living from the Ahman out of Barakatu, this is really Ama Israel. Or if I know the earlier Sashanazis, with somebody who also let them have some real company, others have been to that. Various Shannon, some real pocket with Pasma Rashanim, the very Hashanim. Cabbage ever got the version of Sunday Affiliates in Katsina, never comes at Fatina, Hatadine, because Simply Ama Israel. The ship did a question of years of what Phil was from the Yagan of Hamlin of the last of the very often the Mitzvah of the Mishpat Hatadine. Stuck on Mishpat. How much of this equipment positive pregnant of Olivia, from your grace of consideration, and it's accurate to Shabbos Mager, is of Nebim Head of Yamin of Hatadine. The Machnia Zedem. Outside the Gamma Companies to show up late, as they say, I'm not getting to the Golden Yaman from that all the day. I know since I got them from Shopanas. Simple name and then never still some stuff over Hatadine. Shall be tough on Sadikin. There's some recommendation that catch about the physics that would have to come and say that and the Vanessa of the American of Hatadine. They need a shalom. That's some of the Smith for kind of themselves. The show us, or we call him Hatadine. Not me after any show. Smakelin or the nearly Raffan of family of a couple of Raffan, the better than a spill of Sado, Hilschmet Phyllis, Hakanim, Autumn, Nakamon, the Shimena, the Shemea Phyllis for the Barakatadine. Shemea Philip. Say, I really remember the Phyllis. Shape of it, that is very selfish, as well as many couple of years. The Dutch in Tabana, that's Chelanda of Sakazan, and the Bishop of Temeracham and Barakatadina, Mahas can also let here. When the National one nearly on the version of the Commission of the no, he's a special man of the Vicar of the Racham. American كذا يسمى خزانة قاكمة يضم كذا نقول لكم يسبح ويسلم ما يصنع شيء مخمك إنه تم تقول الله خلاص خيمة خاصة بيعملوا شيء مخاطر دولة الكتاب هو اللي شو سينه بس سينه سهل ولا زي بركات دينه زي شيء مخاطر خنا هذا هدس إن شاء الله يمتى بركة خيم كذا خطر بركة من غير وقت يجونا خبر خير بينك الله نوك خبر بنا خاطر خبرنا خم خبرنا هذا اللي هنا ترسم بس خسر وتصدق بركة من خيم شغل تبنا بركة سام فيش وقت بشر بشلنا خبر خاطر دينه الله يخص عامي شو بشر هنا Got they said is after Kevin, enough, no. Was relation of the regulation of the Macabre, how they say no man Shmecha, is Kalavis Kalash Mirabo, because of Emma Close, it's not the kind of Meshach, Hayef, and that's not the places of goes my Kevin Miramen. Previous year, but least not say others with Allah, the Kochaberto. Then the Kabas should also, the husband Hamas and I remember my Miramen. Scabas and listen, so I started my the Shmai Miramen. Here's my map, my friend, the little Walker, so Miramen. Very such a remember, yes, the little Walker, so Miramen. In the Shabbat, nothing like it. Julia, there's no sense of getting spending a lot of طبعا ما ذكرش مكتب لازم كل شيء كذا كل شيء زوجة كل خاطر في شغل عشان نقدر يعني في جاي تنو ذكاء بخل ما بيجي ما خلاص ما يفهمش ما بيجي سمر كي ما خلاص شوف كي سو بس إذا قدرني ما يبغى نمبر نمبر ما يدري ما خلاص لا ما ينا أنا يجي يدري هذا شو يفهم آمين 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 شوينا بارك الله في ما يسمعه آمين 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 Oh yeah, today in Jewish history. Yay. Tonight marks in 1945 the Mauthausen concentration camp was liberated on the 24th day of Iyar tonight. Unfortunately, most of the people there were exterminated, like 90%. But what was left was liberated tonight. And later on, tomorrow is when the Nazis officially gave up, and that marks the end of World War II. I think it still took a few days till they officially. They basically killed himself. Right. Made a will, and the full general of everything became new. Right. Then he committed suicide. He committed suicide. That was a few days ago. He shot himself when his kids, his girlfriend, poisoned herself. And all the kids, all the children also. Huh? Not Hitler. Whatever his name is, the guy who took over, the next chancellor. No, the next chancellor, and then went to jail. He wasn't killed? Remember the general? Hitler also says to arrest Henry Hitler. Yeah, Henry Hitler said to arrest him in his will. He also committed suicide later. He had to whatever, but he wasn't the next chancellor. The next chancellor was the general. They had the government on the border with Denmark, and the government was liberated until May 23rd.
And the reason Brits was like British don't need the government was basically to surrender. Somebody would need like otherwise they would have to sign whatever military union to have to like do a surrender agreement. This way it was like a commander in chief and he signed surrender, etc. And he thought that like he was gonna basically join the Brits and start fighting Stalin. And basically, all they did, like pretty much giving like big papers to SS, a bunch of SS people, and they were like shooting deserters, and in fact giving like living SS jobs.
All right. Okay, halacha. So a few halachas over here. So we're not allowed to make cheese on Yom Tov, even Shavuos. For Shavuos, we're not allowed to make cheese. We're not. We could buy before Yom Tov. We can make before Yom Tov. Can't buy on Yom Tov.
I think you better make cottage.
Ain't nice in Kvina of Yom Tov. Ain't nice in Chema Yom Tov. Even though normally you're allowed to cook, this is not cooking. Making cheese is not cooking. It's a different process, and we're not allowed to do that on Yom Tov. It's not something which is necessary for Yom Tov. You can have even Shavuos. You can have Yom Tov meal without cheese. It's not necessary. In fact, you have to have meat. Not the obligation of Shavuos to have. It's a minhag to have dairy, but it's not an obligation. And we are not allowed to make cheese on Yom Tov. We're also not allowed to collect the. It says in Yiddish the smetana from the cream of the milk. I guess it's the sour cream. We're not allowed to collect that from the top of the. Skim it off from the milk on Yom Tov, unless you take some milk with it. So you can't take the cream strictly, huh? Because butter, exactly. But if you take milk with it, which is so same thing on Shabbos. If we want to take something, let's discuss something disgusting. Let's say we want to take. Let's say you want to take. Let's say a fly fell into your soup. The fly is not kosher. Now you obviously have to take out the fly from your soup. Always during the week also. You can't eat your soup unless you take the fly out. The fly is not. Now, you obviously have to take the whole fly out, right? The entire fly out. And if you have 60 times more than the fly, then it's not a problem because it's still kosher because it's 6 times as long as it's out.
Pretty much anytime.
Yeah, right. So it's not a problem. However, there's a different problem. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to choose. You're not allowed to pick something. You're not allowed to take the bad from the good on Shabbos. It's called bayir. And the same thing we're not allowed to do on Yom Tov. And therefore, we can't do that. However, there's a way to do it. And that is, if you're not just taking out the fly, but you take some soup together with the fly, we could have used something a little more less disgusting. Here. Sorry, no fly. Here falls in our soup. Right?
Okay.
So you can't take the here out because that's bayir. That's taking something back from the good. We can't do that on Shabbos and we can't do that on Yom Tov. It's not considered cooking. It's not for, even though it's for food. You can't do. It's not preparing your food for Yom Tov. Therefore, you can't pick it out. You can't take the here out. You can't take the fly out. However, what you could do is, that's what you can't do. What you could do is, take it together with some soup. So now, you're not bayir, you're not choosing the bad from the good, you're choosing bad and good from the good. And then, then it's not a problem. So same thing with the fly, same thing with here, same thing with whatever you want to take out. You take out good with the bad. So you're taking out some good soup together with it, and then it's fine. And the same thing he says when it comes to taking out the fat, the skin of the milk, take out the sour cream, whatever it is of the milk. You can't separate the sour cream, even though it's not bad from good, but still you can't separate it. But if you take it together with milk, then you could. Yeah. It's like steak on what? It's like shakers and everything.
60 times is
we could create a sex scenario. There's many sex. Okay. Yeah, and even that to take it with milk. So you're taking it, that you're allowed to do, but you're only allowed to do whatever you need for that day. You can't take extra out. So you can say, you know what, next Tuesday I might as well we're gonna have bagels and whatever for bagels and sour. Yes, let me take a little extra. You can't. You can only take what you need for that day. Even for the next day, you're not allowed because we're preparing for a weekday on a Yom Tov for weekday, and then we're not allowed to do it. However, even that there is a way you could, and that is if it's going to be a hefsid, it's going to be a loss, then we're allowed to do it through a non-Jew. The rule is we have a lot of times in halacha something called hefsid meruba. The Torah worries about our finances. The Torah doesn't want things to go to waste, and whenever there's waste involved, whenever it's going to be bal tashkis, whenever something's going to be destroyed, whenever we're going to have a loss, so the Torah is concerned with the loss, and the Torah gives us a way to do it, and the way to do it is through a non-Jewish person. You are allowed to save. If you're afraid that the cheese is going, the sour cream is all going to spoil, then you could save it through a non-Jewish person. Spices. Some spices, you like to have them fresh. You want to grind it. Normally, you're not allowed to grind on Shabbos. So on Yom Tov also, you would not be allowed to grind. However, if it's for food, then you could. However, there's another rule. The rule is if you could have done it earlier, then you should have done it earlier. And therefore, you shouldn't do it right now on Yom Tov. However, if it's going to taste better, fresh. If, again, I'm not saying this is the case, but let's say black pepper. Black pepper, where people grind black pepper, right? Let's say black, I don't know if it's better that way, but let's say it's better fresh, huh?
It's very fragrant.
If that's what it is, and it's going to make a big effect on your food, then you could. Because you're doing it for Yom Tov, that's what you're doing on Yom Tov. It's to honor Yom Tov. You're grinding it on Yom Tov.
3 hours.
What?
Those 3 hours.
What do you mean?
Things that not on Shabbos. However, so it shouldn't be a lot of effort. However, it's cooking, so a lot of effort. However, we done it earlier. However, it makes the same simple.
Okay. We say we've got my coffee. It's coffee over here. Coffee. No, sorry, it's coming up. It's coming up. All right. So again, so spices. If you're able to do it, if it doesn't change the taste. If you do it before Yom Tov, you're supposed to do it before Yom Tov. If not, then you can do it on Yom Tov, but you do it with a shinoi. The shinoi is you do it some way different than you would normally do it. So if you normally do it with your right hand, and now you do it with your left hand, that's a shinoi. That's doing it differently. Huh? Exactly. You're doing it a little different. You do it a little different to show that it's Yom Tov and it's not your first choice. Same thing if you want to grind crane, horseradish on Yom Tov because you like it fresh and hot and whatever, right? I don't get that, but whatever. Let's say people do it. So you shouldn't grind it directly onto the plate like you regularly do it on during the week, but rather do it onto, let's say, the tablecloth. So you're doing it again. You're doing it different. Some people say it says you can do it with called the ribeisen. He calls it here. Ribeisen is the metal piece that you grind on. The ones that we used to back in our days for Pesach. That's how you make the horseradish. Was on one of those the tower or whatever. I don't know what it's called in English. In Yiddish, a grater. A hand grater, right?
You have 4 sides.
And I remember my brothers who had that job of grading the crane. They would wear goggles and those plugs and still go crazy and red for right. But some people say you cannot use that on Yom Tov because it's called uvdin nechal. That piece, that regular grinder, is a weekday tool. It's a weekday tool. You shouldn't use it on Yom Tov. Shulchan Aruch says you could. Others say better not to. Better use a different type of tool to grind it. Coffee, also coffee, whatever you say. Shouldn't think of my kids out there. So they would. So coffee also should not be ground on Yom Tov the regular way, but rather he says pound it against the pavement or whatever, pound it on something, and that's how you should grind coffee. If you want to grind it on Yom Tov, fresh ground coffee. If you want to have, Avi likes to have fresh ground coffee, right? So that's how you get it. Don't do it through a grinder, huh? And the liver come below. However, says Shulchan Aruch again, it's still much better to do it all before Yom Tov. Do it Erev Yom, do it right before Yom Tov. And this way you don't do anything different. You don't do it before Yom Tov, that's better. If there's anything which is not going to be pagam, it's not going to lose any taste, for sure you should be zahir, you should be careful to do it before Yom Tov and not on Yom Tov. Don't push these things off Yom Tov. However, what happens if you forgot? So then, okay, so you forgot, then do it with a shinoi. Do it with doing it differently. And of course, however, he says, all this is talking about doing, even with a shinoi, doing it a different way. Because you forgot, or it didn't taste better, or it tastes better doing it on Yom Tov. You could only do what you need for that day. Not even for the second, not even on the first day Yom Tov, for the second day Yom Tov. Just for that day of Yom Tov, that's it. Some people are even careful, not to do for the next day, meaning only do for that day, but to only do for the meal that you're doing it right now. If you need to grind black pepper and you're doing it because you want it really fresh, do it for the meal right now. Exactly what you need. Don't do it for next meal. Don't do it an hour earlier. You do exactly that's your excuse. Then do it exactly for that meal. And he says here the same thing with grinding matzah. The same thing. However, there's another rule with matzah. Let's say you want to make knedels. You want to make matzah balls on last day of Pesach. Let's say. So, are you allowed to grind the matzah?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
So, because grinding is a problem on Shabbos. However, there's another rule. And that rule is that something that was ground before. So you're regrinding something that was ground that you could do. Since matzah is made out of it's made out of flour, which is ground. So you're not you're regrinding something which is ground already. You're not grinding, you're regrinding. Regrinding is not a problem. Only grinding is a problem. Yeah, you see the difference? So the first time, to make flour is a problem. To take matzah, which was once flour, and now we grind it, that's not a problem. Higher page 180, what's that like? 1,000. He only once. He only short lines. Hey, what are we having? Going 3 times. Sure, so I heard you need help on how to throw the hat on. Yeah, we practiced that. And you got everyone same height or? Let's see. 118, anybody? Good after Yom the Bechus Yom Echmachus the Atzmach from Kana Vikar Shivei. Echne Vimecho had all these Rabbi God is on Kali the Imru Amen. Ishmi Rabba Varak Yolo Service not say is a David Alosh, the Chabrifo. Elo Bechas Vishiras because of the Hamas Lamina Amma Bimramen. Baruch Mosadre Amevaira, Baruch Adre Amevaira, Asher Viloi Ma'avir Avim B'chach, Ma'avisiach Sha'arim, U'Visunu Sha'arim. Ma'aviyah Mevi Loi Lo, Ma'avdu B'yim U'V'lei Lo, Adonai Zoshua Baruch Adonai, Maariv Services. Avasela makes a song from the Yem Chayenu, Yoirech Yameinu, Avnege Yemapalila. Yavascha Lo Yisasur Mimenu Lo Yilo Mimbarach Adonai. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We have to ace as you know that for the whole Nashapal, all the Edefa, where you are to remain that Hashem is himself, I am all the Vedefa, if you not tell the Vedefa, you brought the function of the Safa, the Vavadef, which will look level to some place Edefa, the device in Edefa, the Tom is this Edefa, which Edefa, the Ishmael, Ishmael, only says that. The other fall, either of Father, Molly, Artem is called me twice. Adina Yelechem. Anachni Salamoy. And if you're not mitzvah, you know, so Nafshino Bakai. Hey, no, about my side. Hey, okay. ومعخوص براسن كيبلو عليهم المعيشة من إسال خان الشيء أو سيف رابا في أمر قوام وما يخبين مدن بكم خان هذا ما كيدش جاي راسي لا يسعي سيف المخصر ورحمة جاي أبكني ما شزاي ذي أربع من الخير والجمع فهذا ليس يعقب وقال بأن خاصة من منغة هذه يقال يسأل Shmar Tzeinu Veinu L'Chaim Taifim L'Shalom Yatar Del Gir Shemir Asin Rato Shemir Es Abba Yisrael Loat Skada Shmir Abba Yom Deref Nusev Yam Echol Sev Yatzach Mekani Vikarim B'Shitei V'Reich V'Reich L'Chad Avi Yisrael God V'Karim Ramei Shmir Abba Mevarach Yolah V'Chol Yimais V'Reich V'Reich Avi Yisnasi Yisrael 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 Shmir Kutsha B'Lichov Elam Gav Chasa V'Shirat V'Chasa Lechem Ma'as Ademir Ma'am Avi Ramei Skada vi skada shmira bo yom de khlu sevi ave khlu sevi atma for kan evi kar mishire ve ve khlu ve khlu gavi sistra ba galad ma kar vi ru ame yesh mira bo ma ra fi Allah mi sara bi shara bi service ma mi stase is adar sada is Allah which are beautiful and I'm going to shirat and khasna ma sana mi ba ma vi ru ame is kaba tzadai se masna kha be sistra kada ma vini mishmai vi ru ame yesh mira ba mishmai khaim tayvim alina ma kaisa vi ru ame ayda shamne ba ya shamne ma kaisa vi ru ame 136 last night. We counted 38. Asher kidishana b'mitzvah v'tzivanu asefira salimeh ayoim tisha shloishim yoim shem chamisha shavuos kabayamim loimer. Days 39 days, which is 5 weeks and 4 days of Leimer. Is begonnen aan Roming, die zich bij aan de Misha, Roming, Banes, en dat zo weer. Dat is wat je doet, boy. Nee, zeker niet. Geen hier had ze vandaag hadden alleen, we zien dus hebben school spelen, zo in de schap te doen, kan spelen. Het zag ze bij ze. Daar is kadisch, dus tussen ze maar al bij deze is, maar ze zag niet maar dit is het. In de shabbat, maar in de. Zodat ze nou kijken hoe dat ze is, dus maar nu. Dus maar is het daar, het moet je hebben maar nou. Die reis mee, daar we willen zo zeggen. Saki nooit lo, me maal shat, me was ik. Dan gaat in de no ik roep je bij, zo bij. Maar maar ja, die net wel ga ik al uit, maar ja, die net gaat dus maar ja gaat. Amen. 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 Yesh mi ra, mo barach ya Allah, lo mi mais pare. Amen. 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 רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכר את ישראל, תראו חיר בלם תאיר המצרי שניהם, אז אנחנו נמצית כאי, יגדל תאיר אביעדי. אמן. אמן. אמן ישמי רב, מברך יהלם אלוהים, מה יספרן. אמן. אמן. Amen. 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 Yasher Koyach, tomorrow morning, 8:40. I'm with the Dominion. Yasher Koyach. Whoa. What was that?